It's a sad day for hundreds of current and former Little Leaguers in Mid-County, the end of almost 40 years. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Saturday night. I'm Brian Burns. Before we get to our top story, let's turn our attention to the weather and Mike Nichols, and it's been a soggy afternoon, Mike. Port Arthur police are investigating an afternoon robbery. Officers were called to 3700 32nd Street just after 1:30 this afternoon and found an individual who'd been approached by two men. One suspect attacked the victim with his fists, the other with a baseball bat. The two men then jumped into the victim's 1993 white Lincoln Town Car and fled the scene. One of the suspects was captured a short time later, but the second suspect is still at large. It's a sad day and a sad moment for the Nederland South Little League. After 39 years, local baseball ending in this community. The baseball park is closing and ceremonies marking the moment and the day have been held. With the tears also came the smiles and the memories. Now, the league will combine with the Nederland North Little League so the kids will have someplace to continue their sport. Well, it is Student Orientation Day at Lamar for summer session number 4, which is coming up. Number 4 begins on Tuesday, and today was the last day for registration, which took place at the Montaigne Center. It's deadline time for Governor Rick Perry, who's getting his say on legislation Texas lawmakers approved during their 5-month session. The governor officially has until tomorrow to decide whether to sign or veto bills, though he has been making decisions on proposed legislation for weeks now. Perry has already signed legislation on border security, cancer research, religious expression, a Texas Youth Commission overhaul, Medicaid reform, and a toll road moratorium compromise. Perry has signed the 2008-2009 state budget into law. He used his line item veto power to get rid of $570 million from the budget that lawmakers passed. Perry used his veto pen on other legislation before the 140 legislative session ended May 28th, and some more vetoes were expected. The Texas Legislative Reference Library says Perry set the known record for vetoes by a Texas governor in 2001 with 83. Meanwhile, fresh veto threats from President Bush, who is promising to reel in what he sees as runaway government spending. In his Saturday radio address broadcast from his Crawford Ranch, he pledged to veto any bills that give too much. Yesterday, the House approved $2 billion more than what the president wanted for a bill that funds the Department of Homeland Security. Thanks to Republican lawmakers, the president has enough votes in the House to make a veto stick. That's not the case for another bill that runs $4 billion over the president's carefully pieced-together budget. The bill funds veterans programs and has the support of a whopping 409 lawmakers, only 2 voting against it. Her parents said they didn't even know she was gone. Now a 14-year-old Texas girl is dead. A suburban Dallas teenager who snuck out of her house to spend time with friends overnight was found shot to death early in the morning. Arlington police arrested a 17-year-old boy who is now facing a manslaughter charge. Several teenagers and a few young adults were having a party at the duplex where the girl lived, and some of the people were drinking alcohol. Someone brought out a handgun and it went off, hitting the young girl. Much better news for another set of parents in what could have been an equally tragic situation. It's the incredible story of a very little girl who managed to survive alone in the woods for 3 days. Rescuers feared the 5-year-old had drowned, but instead she surprised everyone when she emerged from the woods uninjured. Here's ABC's Eric Hong reporting from near Chicago. Closer to home, a party for babies and moms and dads and grandparents. It's the second birthday reunion for difficult births, just for moms and families who 1 year ago gave birth at the Medical Center of Southeast Texas. The hospital decided to throw a party, and it all started 1 year ago in Port Arthur. Doctors and nurses and staff say the party is a time to get together and give thanks and celebrate. When 12 News at 6 Saturday continues, a nationally known comedian performing tonight in Texas faces protesters over the use of the Imus comments. Plus, a little later on, the dumb blonde myth, where it came from and is it really true? You're watching KBMT Channel 12 News. Know a lot of folks who had plans for this morning, and they made it without any rain on them. Well, I watched Tiger this morning, and at least this morning when I was able to watch, it looked like he was cruising along. All right, thanks, Ashley. Still ahead on the weekend edition, Paris told Barbara Walters from jail she'll stop playing the dumb blonde role. Are blondes dumb? Any truth to that stereotype? We'll take a look in just a few moments. Don't go away. Where does the dumb blonde myth come from? Paris Hilton has said she's dropping the dumb blonde act, which got us wondering how that whole stereotype started in the first place. CNN's Josh Lebs shed some light on the light hair myth. And join us again at 10. Good night. Andrew Cocono, surrounded by his surviving brothers and their families, is being taken to Magnolia Cemetery to be laid to rest. In Beaumont, Brian Burns, KBMT, Channel 12 News. This is part of a group of raids being conducted by federal authorities in several cities in our immediate area. Sheriff Mike White says it's about time. This young man's name is Dylan, and he's one of those special needs patients in Jefferson County who needs the extra help in making sure that he gets out safely. Following the signing, the crowd moved outside for the dedication of a memorial bench for the two girls lost in last year's accident. But the mothers of the two girls are happy to see this day. If you live in the Golden Triangle, you actually do have a lot of choices. From this to this, and a lot of jobs in between.